Hi Aquarius, welcome to your December 2021 Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aquarius, this is for you, and I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and interactions with the world at large this month, you have Alright, so you've got the King of Swords, alright? So in a lot of ways, this is you showing up very much in your own power, whether you are a man, woman, person, however you identify. For me, the King of Swords is Aquarius, right? This is Aquarius energy, so you show up very strong this month, very much in your own power, very much aware of yourself, and maybe even aware of the influence that you have. Now, the King of Swords is also about rising up the ranks to reach a top spot in some way. Has some affinity, not all, because obviously the Magician card is Mercury. But it does have an affinity with that card in that it's about reaching the height of something. The King of Swords is very much about reaching a position of power, a position of status. All the kings are in a sense, but the King of Swords especially, because this is all about reaching that point or that space where you become, or you're known as a specialist or an expert in something. So I love this for you, right? Now, the fact that you've got this for your actions and interactions with the world at large, this is you in your own power, speaking your truth, standing in your truth. I think this is going to be a month where maybe all of the pieces of something finally come together for you. This could be a really powerful personal understanding, but it could just as easily be a personal realization. Now, that being said, on the more mundane level, this can actually talk about, sometimes it's paperwork and contracts, sometimes it can be legal matters that will come up. The fact that you've got this in the actions and options, this is very likely to be some sort of paperwork and or documentation that comes up. So this might be something that you need to look into, maybe something that you're needing to sign. Maybe this is information and knowledge that you need to acquire. Whatever is said, whichever way this plays out for you, this is a very strong card for you in the way that it starts your reading. And I really like this for you. I don't know why, I just get this sense that it's like this week you're going to be this month, you're going to be very self-aware and very self-confident, which is always nice to feel that way, right? All right, so before we get into your money and materials, every year on the 21st of December, I put on a winter solstice alignment activation session. You can get your seat on the link in the description box below. This year I have two amazing guests. I've got Heather and Denise. Both of these are power and storehouses of knowledge. They are wonderful human beings, and they will be bringing so much insight on the year ahead that we're likely to experience. We're going to be talking astrology, numerology. I'm going to be doing tarot card pulls. We're going to be talking human design, all of the transits there and what that might mean, how they might be affecting us. And as if that wasn't enough, I will be leading an FLP session where we will be shooting off into the future to see in specific what the year holds for us and what we might need to be aware of. All right, so if you want to get your seat, make sure you are there. The link is in the description. So for your money and materials, you've got the Moon card, right? So this month, I would say to you, when it comes to money, finances and resources, especially because you've got this King of Swords here, I don't like the Moon for big purchases. Anything where you're having to sign up or on for something for a long time, like a payment plan, maybe buying a car or a mortgage or anything like that, this is not the month to do it. There'll be much stronger months for you in the year ahead for sure. This is not one of those months, all right? So when it comes to finances and money, be very diligent about your money, especially the paperwork that surrounds this. So, all of your bank statements, all of that kind of stuff. Maybe some of you are sorting and sifting through this kind of thing. This is also a month as well where I want you to be really careful with your digital assets, whether that's crypto, whether it's your online banking password and your apps. Like, this is a month to make sure that you look after those things, like really look after them, okay? The reason I say this is because the moon card can be quite nebulous, and it can also see things being hidden. And you've got this in your money or in your finances, so you just want to really be conscious. All right, the other thing that you want to watch out for this month as well is emotional spending, you know, where it's like you're feeling something, you're feeling it really heavy or really powerfully, and you know, to alleviate that or to heighten that or enhance that feeling, you just spend. Be careful of that this month, all right? Just because it might run away with itself, and then you could be feeling a bit like, oh, okay, we've overindulged with the credit card, or, you know, if you have them, or you know, even just the funds that you have. So just be aware that that is the case. Now, that being said, for some of you, this could be an old opportunity when it comes to work that might come up, because the moon card is the past. The King of Swords can represent our profession or our career. So this could be a reconnection with somebody that you've worked with. Maybe it could be an opportunity that comes through an old colleague, an old boss of some kind. It could also be that you're coming up with an idea that is going to take a lot of going, but it is really a great idea. All right, so I'm interested to see how it pans out. Obviously, I'm an Aquarius sun. So for your communications and conversations, you've got the Ten of Swords. So that's not an easy one, right? And it does suggest that some of the communications over the course of this month might be a little bit terse, all right? There might be some moments that get a little bit tense. It's always tense around the holiday season, especially if you're spending time with family and loved ones, because they just know, don't they, what to say and how to say it to get you a little bit overexcited or exaggerated. That being said, remember the beauty of the Ten of Swords is that's it, right? This is the last moment. It's the last pass of something. Now, for those of you that follow astrology, you'll know the last Saturn-Uranus square finally is happening this month in December. Now, it is going to be a feature of 2022, but it won't come exact, right? So it's going to be kind of like, you know, when you like stub your toe, right? And it's like the initial kind of moment is like, but then after that, it's just kind of like a dull ache that's in the background that you can kind of tune out. That's going to be the Saturn-Uranus square throughout 2022. It will be there, but it won't be anywhere near as bad or as heavy as we had it over the course of this year, right? So all of the fixed signs can breathe a collective sigh of relief. Now, that being said, this could be a conversation that you have with someone where you're kind of like in that space of, this is the last time I'm going to have this conversation. This is the last time I'm going to allow you to say this to me. This is the last time I'm going to allow you to treat me this way. For some of you, you know, on the brighter part of it, this could be the, you know, maybe you say to yourself, this is the last time I'm going to allow this self-sabotaging belief, behavior, idea, belief structure to come up and to trip me up. Like, this is it. I'm done with this now. I've learnt the lesson. Thank you for it. And I'm on, right? On to the next. So in a way, maybe the experience initially isn't enjoyable, right? But what it gives you and how it propels you forward could be wonderful. All right. So it's actually quite nice. All right. And then finally, for your heart and half, or your loves and relationships, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. This is really nice. So I will say this to you, for a select few of you, some form of travel might not necessarily go ahead. So if you and the family, or you and the loved one, have got plans to go somewhere, I'm really sorry, and I really hope that I'm wrong on this, but you might not be able to go. All right, so just make sure you've got some sort of alternative plan. The other thing that I want to say to you here as well, on the sort of lighter and brighter, for those of you that have had challenges or issues or arguments in your marriage, your partnership, or your long-term commitment, this could be where whatever that was, it comes to pass, right? It's like you say, okay, you know what? We've had it out, we've had our arguments, we've had our challenges and whatnot. Now we can let it go, right? I'm done with it. You're done with it. We're over it. For those of you that are single, this could be the end of singledom, all right? Pay attention to who shows up for you in the course of this month. And the reason I say this is because it might be somebody that comes up quickly, or it might be somebody that comes back into your life. The chances are with this, though, It's going to be a slow build, all right? It's not just going to be they show up and then all of a sudden, oh, bam, look at us, we're in a relationship. It's going to be someone that shows up or somebody that connects with you, and then you think, okay, cool, you know what? Maybe this has potential. But there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of fun, actually, even with delays and or stoppages to travel. There's a lot of fun and laughter in the relationship sector. Even with this Ten of Swords in the communications, it's just that could be some surprise news that kind of throws you about a bit. So for your first card out for the first week of the month, you've got the Tree of Life. So I call this divine intervention and assistance. It's right underneath the King of Swords. So, you know, definitely in a really strong position as you start December. And I actually feel like that's going to grow. And not only that, the first week is where we've got this eclipse, right? The final eclipse in Sagittarius, which is, especially if you're an ascendant Aquarius, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon. But it's the last eclipse in the 11th house, right? So this might be where that eclipse cycle finally produces someone, a connection, a collaboration that actually matters, that can really help you further your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, or even your heighten your career in some way. This can be quite exciting. Pay attention to who comes up or who shows up now. For your second week of the month, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. Very nice. All right, so you've got this with the Moon card. So it's going to be a mixed bag when it comes to finances. Like I said, there's no big, you know, I don't like this necessarily for big purchases, but because you've got this Wheel of Fortune, this could be a month where you get some sort of payout. Maybe it's for some good deed, maybe it's for services rendered, maybe this is just, you know, Jupiter moving into your second house. You know, don't expect, you know, big piles of money to rain from the sky, but do expect finances to get easier, considerably easier as of the course of December, right? So, well, the end of December when Jupiter moves back into Pisces. So this could be nice, but this second week could present you with maybe a money-making idea. This could be where you're getting a bonus or a blessing of some sort that shows up for you. Excuse me. That could be quite nice. So, as we come into the third week of the month, whatever you do or don't celebrate, from my heart to yours, I truly hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. For those of you that celebrate like me, happy Yule. I truly hope that you do have a wonderful time of it, and I really hope that it's a gorgeous end of the year for you. All right, so your third week of the month. Yeah, okay, we've got the Devil card. So, looks like Aquarians will definitely be overindulging. But you know what? It's the holiday season, right? So if you're going to go to excess of any time of the year, this is likely going to be it. Now, you've got this underneath the Ten of Swords. That can be some really challenging words that are had. For some of you, this could be maybe actually as well, one way that this could show up on a more positive note, maybe a conversation that you have with somebody that is a little bit challenging prompts you to end a bad habit. Maybe, you know, somebody passes a comment, or maybe they say something and you're like, oh, wow, you know, is that how I'm seen? And it's not because of how you're seen by somebody else. It's because you kind of didn't see it for yourself. This could prompt you to stop smoking, quit drinking, maybe cut something out of your diet, maybe start an exercise regime. For those of you that don't know this, setting your intentions on the 21st of December is the most powerful point, not New Year's Eve, and that's why a lot of people fail their New Year's resolutions, because they're not doing it at the right time. If you want to do this kind of thing with a whole bunch of like-minded people where the energy is amplified, get your seat on the winter solstice session, all right? Now, this Devil card, overindulgence. You've got this with this Ten of Swords. I feel like this is going to be the end of a bad habit, right? But it might reach a crisis point. So maybe you really do overindulge and you have one too many, and you wake up the next day like with the hangover from hell, and you know, someone says to you, oh, by the way, last night you were swearing at everyone, or you know, you were lifting your top over your head. And you're like, okay, I don't remember any of that. You know, Ixnay, we're not doing this anymore. That's just one way this could show up. Another way is you could have a challenging conversation that really changes your mind on something. You've got this next to the Devil card, next to the Wheel of Fortune. This is not a time to take a gamble. If you want to buy a lottery ticket, or, you know, put a little money on a horse or whatever, something, you know, small token, fine. If you're talking about big sort of money, gambling, stocks, shares, or even cryptocurrency, this is not a month, and especially not around this time, to be putting big money into those kinds of things. All right, just be very, very careful. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you that kind of advice. You make your own decisions, but this is sketchy for putting money into something on a hot tip, all right, or, you know, anything like that. Just be careful. In your 4th week of the month, you've got the Empress, right? So for those of you that are partnered, this is lovely energy for pregnancy. It's lovely energy for home, hearth, family connections. You know, I mean, you've got it right next to the Devil card, so that is a little bit of excess for sure, but you know what, it looks like you finished the year very strong. What I like about this with that Wheel of Fortune is, for those of you that are single, whoever shows up around this time is likely to be around for a while, even if they don't necessarily, you know, become something to you straight away. It's like they come into or back into your life in some way, because you've got to double hit the Wheel of Fortune as well. And it's like they're here to stay now, all right? So that will develop over time. And then for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, it just feels like a deepening of the relationship, but it's through something very physical. So some of you, this could be pregnancy. Maybe some of you are getting a pet. That's very, very possible. You know, yeah, I love it. All right, so your new moon, solar eclipse energy is the gate 13 and listen. This is about trusting your inner voice, right? And it's about doing the work that makes you still enough to hear that voice. So this is a great month maybe to take time to meditate. Maybe this is a great time, in fact, this would be no better time actually than to journal. Start that practice now, especially around this eclipse, because it will be with you for a long time to come. Also, some of the opportunities that show up for you over the course of this month could be really, really amazing. You just need to be discerning of spirit to say, right, is this really a good connection for me to make? Is this a good path? All right, and then finally, your full moon message is the gate 24. This card for me, so you see this card also has butterflies, and then on the inner listen card you've also got a butterfly. So this could be a month that really transforms a lot. It may not necessarily happen specifically in this month, but the transformation that happens as a result of December could really carry you all the way through 2022. And this card here, this full moon, is really going to show you how to get back to yourself. It's really going to show you, or, you know, highlight to you how you get back to yourself, how you get back to that part of you or that version of you that you love, that you miss, that you think, you know what, that's when I was at my best. It's like that best self is coming back, and that full moon is really going to show you how to make it happen. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. I truly hope you have a wonderful year ahead. From my heart to yours, I just want to say a huge thank you so much for all of your support throughout 2021. I literally cannot do this stuff without you guys, so it really does mean a lot to me. I hope you have a wonderful 2022, and I will see you in the new year for all of the good stuff to come. Take care, and I'll see you soon.